What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be diving into Boros Artifacts, a new deck that comes from Kamigawa. We got a lot of new artifacts into the meta as a whole, and this is kind of a deck that utilizes a lot of the new Kamigawa cards, as well as some of the artifacts that have existed already from prior sets that have been released in Arena. There is a meta version of the deck that we are going to start out with, and we're going to go from that version and make a more budget-friendly version for players who are, new to the game, coming back to the game, or lack the rares to fully make the real deck. With that being said, if you like the video, hit that like button. It definitely helps out a lot. If you're new here, you want to know when I post new videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, let's just dive into the deck and let's just talk about it. So diving into our Boros artifact deck, we can kind of pick through here and kind of look at the deck and kind of see what we're dealing with. I mean, for the most part, the deck isn't super expensive compared to, like, say, the mono white, the mono greens of the format, as there is a mixture of commons and uncommons in the deck because a lot of the synergies that came from Kamigawa are commons and uncommons. So if we just kind of start picking out all of the rares that are in the deck and mythics, so make just, I guess, two separate piles, I guess is what I'm doing. So this is the rare pile, this is the mythic pile. We're just gonna take out all the rares and mythics that are in the deck. The mana base actually has a lot of the rares, so it's definitely one of those decks that there isn't too much for the main deck, if you really think about it, that you really need to invest in. I actually think you do get them all at the Skyclaves. I could be wrong, but the only thing I'm gonna do is, I know you definitely get the one pathway, so I'm gonna take one pathway and put it there. And then we're just going to fill out the mana base, I think. And I think I'm going to do an even balance of 9 and 9 when it comes to the basics. And I think I'm just going to grab 3 copies of the tap dual lands. And I think this is kind of like one of those things, being, a player of Magic. It's whatever you prefer. For the sake of this, we're just going to do the Windshear Crag, because it is a Windscarred Crag, I should say, because it is a common compared to, some of the other cards. Actually, they're all commons, except for, I guess, this one that uses red and white to do things with. But you could choose either that one, you can choose the one that you can scry, or you can choose the ice one. But I don't think we really need the ice mana, so that is definitely something to put into consideration when it comes to actually put in the lands in the deck. But I think this mana base, doing 22 lands for a deck that's not really super high in curve is definitely a good thing. And then other than that, I think I want to include some rare from some of this, and then we're just going to include, like, the amount that it has. So, like, we'll just take the Angel Fire Ignitions, because I think that's going to be a good card to help our deck kind of get over the top, with it being, very focused on low cards. So I think this is definitely going to be something to give our card that much more punch when it comes to finishing off our opponents. So we'll definitely do that. And then we'll kind of take out all of these cards that we're not going to use because, let's just kind of see how many cards we really need to add to the deck to finish it off. So let me just kind of click these off. All right, so we're sitting at 51 cards. So what we need to do is we need to fill 9 cards. And if we look at the deck, I mean, overall, for the most part, we have 4 copies of most things. I don't think we really want to add any more Reinforced Ronins, just because we don't want to have to keep on replaying him. Because the benefit of him is he's a 1 mana 2/2 haster, and we can keep on replaying him, therefore triggering our cards that pump due to artifacts. But I don't think we want to add more copies, because you don't want to have a handful of them and you're just having to replay them every single turn to try to get in for that damage. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here, we're going to click off this, click off that, we're going to click on artifact, we're going to go to filters, we're also going to filter to artifacts and kind of see if there's any any artifacts that we can add to the deck that maybe we don't already have in our colors, or even if it's just the colorless artifacts. So one thing of note, I think an interesting artifact that we could add to the deck is a possibility of Imperial Recovery Unit. It's a 3/4 artifact creature that we can crew for 2, and then whenever it attacks, we get to return target vehicle or creature with mana value 2 or less from our graveyard to our hand. So definitely a card to help us recover, our creatures that possibly will die. I think this is something you probably want to add 4 copies of, just because we really don't have a big top end. I mean, 3 mana right now is our most expensive card in the deck. Outside of that, we probably want to add up as a possibility. Where is it? I think it's a 2 mana vehicle. I know it's a vehicle, I just don't know where it is, because when you start filtering things down, everything kind of shifts around and then it, like, throws me off from where I'm looking. Oh, here it is. It's in the actual artifact colors. So where are we? 2 mana, 2 mana, 2 mana, 2 mana. Here we go. We got the high speed hover bike. It's another decent artifact that has a tapped ability, because it can flash it in and enters the battlefield. We get to tap up to 1 target creature, so definitely going to be one of those cards that can maybe help us slow our opponent down. Then other than that, we just need 3 more cards. So I mean, it's not anything too crazy. So we have a couple possibilities. We have this one, Experimental Synthesizer. It's a 1 mana artifact that we can sacrifice it to create a 2/2 samurai creature token with vigilance as a sorcery. But when it is played or leaves the battlefield, we can exile the top card of our library. Until end of turn, we may play that card. So it's kind of like a good way to help us kind of draw, as we really don't have any sort of draw mechanics. So that's definitely a card that we could add. Another possibility is, I think it's over here. Where is it on this page? Um, is the Simian Sling. It's a 1 mana 1/1 creature, or equipment, I should say. It's an equipment creature that it gives target creature +1/+1, and then whenever it or an equipped creature we control becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to defending player. And we can reconfigure essentially meaning equip for 2. I think we're pretty good on creatures, and I think having the experimental synthesizer is going to be a good way to kind of, dig a little bit deeper in the deck. And we're going to just go up to 3, just because that will put us at 60. I think this is definitely a good starting point for the deck. Like I said, I don't know if I went over this, but the general premise of the deck is we're just playing a bunch of artifacts, and we have 2 creatures in our 2-drop slot that get pumped up whenever we play an artifact. You have the Smith that gets pumped up. Every time we play one or more artifacts into the battlefield under our control, it gets +1/+1 counter. It can only trigger once per turn, so it slowly, pumps up once per turn. But we can also look at the top when it's played. We look at the top 4 cards over the library. We feel an artifact from among them, put it into our hand, and put the rest at the bottom. So it's definitely a card that helps us dig a little bit deeper and gets pumped up when we play our artifacts. And then you have the Patchwork Automaton, which is a 2 mana 1/1 for 2. And then whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on Patchwork Automaton. So definitely a lot of cards in the deck that are going to pump up these 2 cards. This one's probably going to be the big guy at the end of the day because, we can play as many artifacts we want in a single turn, and it'll get pumped up as the amount of artifacts we play on that single turn, whereas this one's limited to 1. But other than that, I think this is definitely a deck that we're going to take for a spin, kind of see how we do, and let's just kind of see how it performs. All right, opponent goes first. We have a hand that has all red mana and 2 white cards, so that's not great. That's a mulligan. This hand's better. I guess we can get rid of an automaton, because I think keeping I think keeping a 3-lander is probably better in this scenario, so we can make sure we cast everything. And turn 1, we can always play a Windscarred Crag. All right, we got some sort of blue. Gain a life. Blue-black. Okay, so we got some sort of Dimir. All right, so Ninjutsu of some sort. I think we play the Automaton. I know it's kind of like, let's see if they attack kind of thing. I mean, I don't mind if they Ninjutsu, I guess. I'll take 2. You can Ninjutsu. I know what you're gonna do. Or not. Okay. So they're gonna draw. Put a stop on their upkeep so that we can burn them. And we'll let them pass the draw, so they're good. Slows them down at least a little bit. If they want to replay another one, then they have it. Sure. Jutsu's free. Awesome. Try to get Ninjutsu. There's a hold, so I mean they could Ninjutsu here. Awesome. What does this do? So is that touching lifelink? Okay. Not bad. Not bad. So we dig. And we get synthesizer. Crap. I think they're wondering if they want to remove it. Does it happen in Ninja 2? It does. No blocks. I can gain my health, my life back. So if they want to play ninjutsu, they can. If they don't, they don't. They're probably like, wait, why didn't they do that? Interesting. Another smith. Not gonna get me a land. Make me kill it. We'll sit back. Sure. I'd be at 1, so we got a block. I need like a portable hole. I thought I misclicked for a second. Sure. Schwa. Block there. Okay. Nice. I'll attack for 3. I'll save the artifact. Okay. Awesome. No attacks. Interesting. Interesting to say the least. And they only have 1 mana open, so that's good for us. Let's Angel Fire. We'll do this. We will play him. Grow our creatures. We'll Angel Fire, given this whatever. And we'll attack here and here. Okay. That's the game. And we are back. So, I mean, overall, the deck is pretty decent, I think, for a budget deck. I think there is some room for improvement. Refining maybe a land or two or a card or two here and there could make or break the deck. I do think if you get the right cards in your starting hand and the right mana, I think the deck can work in its current form. I mean, if you guys have any suggestions, maybe a card I maybe overlooked and didn't realize when I was building the deck, let me know down in the comments below. With that being said, if you like the video, hit that like button. It definitely helps out a lot. If you're new here, you want to normally post new videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button. It puts a +1/+1 counter here on the channel. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.